Good day everyone, and welcome to the first ever SABAA YouTube video. Today we've got an interview with SABAA President Craig Fraser. We finally got him on camera and we discussed a few crucial points. A little bit about SABAA's history, the different sectors, and at the end of this video there will be an organogram with the sectors, the sector heads, and their contact details. Enjoy! And we are recording. All right. Look, Craig Fraser from SABAA. How's it going today?
All good, thank you, Andre. This is the first video that we're doing on YouTube, the South African YouTube channel that you're going to be creating. So I think it's pertinent to say it's the first. I'm not good on the camera, but I'll answer all the questions that I can. This will be the first video, and then what we'll do is we'll move on to I know that you will get in touch with each section.
Yes.
And do an interview with each one of the presidents for them to represent their section and delve deeper than we will today.
Let's put them in an uncomfortable situation as well.
Like me. Yeah.
So, quickly, what's the history about your history with SABAA?
So, originally from Zimbabwe, just had a passion for outdoors and fishing and got involved in Western Cape in 1999 with Western Province. That progressed to the formation of the 5 divisions, which was then the Western Cape division, and I was the president of Western Province, Western Cape division. And then that progressed obviously to me automatically sitting on the board as a vice president when you're the president of Western Province, or then as a divisional president, you sat as a vice president and principal at SABAA. And then in 2016, our previous president resigned with immediate effect at the AGM, and I was duly elected in a meeting that I had no agenda for.
Wow.
So I was very much in the deep end. But yeah, I mean, it's been, for me personally, it's been a very rewarding opportunity that I've been afforded, not only from my personal angling and the accolades that I've achieved, but also to watch people like yourself and their number of people that have strived to get the Protea Blazer and achieved it. So from my side, it's just a pleasure to be able to give back to a sport that's been very giving to me. I've made friends throughout the world. And I mean throughout the world, that I can pick up the phone and say, can you help me? I'm coming here. What's your idea? What's your opinion? So to create those friendships, we've got one thing in common. That's bass fishing.
That's bass fishing, yeah.
And through that, I feel that
I've... silent.
No worries.
My bad. You put yours on silent. I didn't put mine. That's an apology.
I haven't done mine yet.
I'll edit mine out. So I'll be the editor.
So, you know, the important thing there is that, I've achieved a lot in the sport, but I believe it's also appropriate for people always to reflect and say, well, what can we give back? And that's why I give back, because it's the appreciation of the friendships and the appreciation of other people's passions to obtain their colors, whether that's our youth or whether it's a senior angler. The badge means the same to everybody, and somebody needs to be able to be there to assist with the administration of the sport.
And then I know SABAA, each section, we're getting a lot more sections, I'm going to say almost every year or second year. I know I was part of Small Craft League back when it wasn't SABAA affiliated, and now that branch is also under the SABAA wing. What other divisions do you guys have or sectors under the SABAA name?
So what happened, Henry, to be honest, is running the Western Province of the Western Cape, I think we were blessed. I thought we were doing a great job for bass angling. And all of a sudden I had to take the Western Cape hat off and put on a national cap and reflect. And I must be honest, for 18 years I thought we were on the right path, but we weren't.
Not.
And the reason I say that is SABAA is here as a recognized body of authority of competitive bass angling. But we were only catering for elite anglers that had fiberglass boats, big outboard motors, and we thought we were doing a great job. So I just had to reflect upon that, and in my personal opinion, I then realized that my vision was to have 5 sections. And originally, we always just had the seniors, and the juniors fed off the seniors. When I say fed, they relied on the seniors organizing and the seniors' revenue that's generated. And I had a vision of saying, okay, one, we need to separate the juniors. They need to be an independent section. And then what was individuals or seniors is now known as opens. So what we ended up with a vision of 5 for our reality at the moment, and that is we have our juniors, which I think soon to be changed to our youth angling.
Why would the name change?
Primarily because when I went over to America, you sit in the BASS Congress and you say our junior team, and they say juniors is under 13s.
Okay.
They've got a categorization of juniors, high school, college. So we only have juniors, which was under 19. So we've decided to follow the international standard. Paul is busy with that his documentation will change from juniors to youth, and I think it's a better representation of who that section represents.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, we've got our youth section independent now and administered by that executive structure. We have the individuals or seniors, that's now known as opens. We have team tournament trails, and we have National Smallcraft League, and the one that's still got to get fundamentally running, but it's just to find volunteers and time, is bank angling. And many people are unaware that FIPS Ed, where opens have opportunities of fielding a team to world championships of boats, there's a world championship bank angling. Okay.
Wow.
For Smallcraft League, there's world championships kayak. South Africa was instrumental in the formation of that. And we'll come to some of the challenges when we discuss it. But primarily the vision was to have 5 sections. We still need to get bank angling up and going. If there's anybody listening that's prepared to come and put in the effort and get it going, we would welcome it.
Contact details will be in the description.
And what is the reason for us why did I change kind of the perspective of just the seniors, juniors, is we were not representative of bass angling in South Africa. And we needed to be representative of them. There were already anglers that were fishing on float tubes, kick boats, small craft, okay, that had no sense of belonging within SABAA. So if we want to be involved as organized competitive bass angling and authority of bass angling in South Africa, we need to recognize bass anglers, not just those with big boats. So yes, we recognize juniors and opens, as we now call them, but we never recognized the opportunities that lay within National Smallcraft League kickboaters, and we never recognized the team trails. Now, team trails always existed, whether we go back to BET, etc. There were always and always will be cost for cash type tournaments. But there was never a place and a path within SABAA for those members to belong. So we needed to brainstorm it, and through the national executive, the formation was long and pretty tedious, but by 2022, we then had the 4 sections fully independent up and running.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. So we're talking about National Smallcraft League, juniors, which is youth now, opens and teams.
That's correct.
And then the heads of those divisions or sectors?
So maybe let me discuss each one of those sections, as we call them. So sections, some people might refer to them as disciplines, because we're all bass anglers, but there's slightly different ways of going about it. So if I just first on the youth, Paul Stonley is the president of the youth division section, and he relies on 5 geographical areas. So we call that 5 divisions. That is the Western Cape, the Eastern Cape, KZN, Northern Division, and for reference to people listening to this, Northern Division is really in Mpumalanga and Limpopo area, and then Southern Division, which is traditionally Free State, Gauteng.
Okay.
And they've done that because, one, the numbers, and two, they've got to rely on seniors giving their boats and the availability. So anybody wanting to get involved with and get the youth involved in a healthy outdoor lifestyle, I urge them to get in touch with Paul or any one of his divisional presidents. And we welcome kids of all ages. You don't have to start young. There's youth that have engaged from the age of 8, although you cannot qualify for your Protea colours until you're 12, and that's understandable because youngsters will go away from home and they get homesick.
That's true.
And etc. So they have got an age category, and I stand under correction. Paul, when he does his interview, will give you more detail on it. But from 12 extended to including 19. So they've got a wonderful committee that runs the entire youth. They are independent. They do report to me, but a great group of people, and kudos to Paul and the rest of his executive. One of the other important things is youth can strive through the 5 geographical areas. They'll get selected to represent their geographical area or their division to go to their national championships held once a year, traditionally around about March, April, and qualify for Protea colours.
Okay.
And our Protea colours for our youth was traditionally only between Zimbabwe and South Africa. And a lot of that has got to do with our rand-dollar exchange rate and the cost of trying to send our youth anywhere else in the world. So a couple of years ago, we started brainstorming ideas about having a Youth Tri-Nations and inviting the youth Team USA to come and participate. And I'm grateful for a number of key people that were involved in that. Carl Eckhart, the president of ZNBF, came down to the SIPS Congress just over a year ago, and we met with Michael McNett from US Angling, and he said, I can get this to happen. And I'm grateful to say that the inaugural Tri-Nations test was hosted by Zimbabwe Bass Federation, and they did a fantastic job. And I'm also very proud to say that the inaugural event was won by South Africa.
Oh, fantastic.
But in saying that, a clear message, I think, was sent by myself and Paul and Carl Eckhart and Strati that we need to remember we're dealing with youth. And seniors, we all want to win. And so do the youth want to win, but we need to teach them that we don't win at all costs. We win with sportsmanship, and that should be the most important. That Tri-Nations is ultimately about building relationships and friendships that will last a lifetime, that South African youth will get to know friends in Zimbabwe, friends in the US, and who knows what opportunities lie ahead for them, either in bass angling or in their careers or in their studies.
Yeah.
So great that that's happening. Another nice thing is that 2025 December will be the Tri-Nations. Venue will be announced by end of June, July. But it's South Africa's turn to host. So it was Zimbabwe last year, South Africa this year, and then next year we'll go to the USA. So that's going to be interesting for the youth that qualify from the national championships in 2026. So again, any of the youth out there that love bass fishing, that do see this video, get hold of your dad, get him to get in touch with the youth section and get involved and strive. And you know the story.
Yeah, no, I've been there. The only thing I'm sad about is that I didn't join the youth group earlier. I think I was 16 when I joined, and I have friends that I talk to on the daily today still. So if you guys want to get in contact with the youth, get, I want to say, the outdoor spirit going, the contact details will be in the description. So yeah, be sure to email or phone Paul. And then the next section I want to talk about that I'm very excited about also is the National Smallcraft League. So I went from juniors, didn't have the money to have a boat because I used the seniors boats. And then I went into Smallcraft League. Back then, I think it was 2019, it was in a SABAA sector still, but that changed, and I actually got my president's colors eventually with National Smallcraft League. And like we said, it's a very, I want to say, cost-effective way of getting your blazer. So if you can maybe just tell us a bit.
I think first of all, for all of the people watching, you got your Protea blazer as a junior,
yes.
and you achieved your president's blazer as Smallcraft League. So it says a lot about your natural angling attributes, whether you are in juniors or Smallcraft or in opens if you had the money, or in teams having boats. So exactly that. It was one of the concerns for myself when I took over, is I could see that there were Smallcraft League tournaments happening all over the country, but none of them belonged to us. So I think you were at the inaugural meeting at Bullshook when I went to present, and I said, guys, I don't have all the answers. And I honestly didn't have all the answers, but there's a wonderful executive that was chaired originally by Roy, and then by Charles, and then by Nick, Nicholas Vincent, and now by George Newham. George is heading it up, and I can tell you now, it's a great opportunity because it's the most cost-effective entry point to competitive angling. I firmly believe that is going to be our highest growth section within SABAA, and it will be our largest section without a doubt. I'm waiting for the final membership details to come through, if they are not already the largest. I know, just as an example, the Western Cape are saying they may have to form an A and a B league.
Yes, I think the guys are over 60, I think, paid up members for the year. I think so.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
So the information I got,
and all of them can fish very well.
54 competitive anglers, and they've capped it at 60.
Yes,
now they may have to have an A and a B league next year, and that's wonderful to see. And that's why I'm grateful that we've taken the onus of creating these additional sections in a place of belonging for competitive angling. I think people need to realize that in the National Smallcraft League, you can earn your provincial colours. You can earn President's colours. Now, President's colours is a SABAA selected team. So it is one team below your National Protea team. Okay? And then you get your Protea colours in Smallcraft League also. The challenge that we faced is there are not many other countries that are fishing off kickboats.
Yes.
You would have heard me make a statement earlier that we actually were involved with the formation of what they classify as carnivorous from kayak, which in essence is Smallcraft League. Okay. And the World Championships. Our challenges are rate of exchange. And no disrespect intended by the statement, but there are many very, very wealthy anglers in Smallcraft League, do not get me wrong. But there are also many anglers, like you've just alluded to, that are in Smallcraft League because you're still building up and you'd love to have a big boat and an imported boat and this and that, but you're not there yet. So naturally, those anglers also don't have the budgets with the exchange rates to be able to go and compete over in Canada and the US and so on and so forth. So we have been working closely with George and previously with Nick to say we will try to find nations that do have events that are on kickboats. But I think it's pertinent for me to say the opportunities, whether you talk BASS kayak, we can go, because we're affiliated to BASS. Pan American Kayak Championships. I've had a discussion with US Angling 2 years ago, and they said we would welcome South Africa. So the opportunities are there from kayak. What I hope to see in Smallcraft League is potentially a growth with opportunities of international competing on kickboats, as well as kayaks. Almost two divisions within Smallcraft League, and you will have fundamentally a whole lot of anglers that are proficient on a kayak and that they know where they're going to go and where they're going to fish, and likewise for the kickboaters. So provincial presidents, Protea colours, all available. Our challenge is within SABAA National Executive and working with the Smallcraft Executive is to actually get the Proteas kicked off, and I know that they are speaking to certain nations at the moment to try and convince them still in 2025 that we have an international, so we can award the inaugural awarding of Protea colours. But once that gains momentum, I think we'll be in good stead.
Fantastic. Now, I know it presents its all its own challenges with small craft league. I believe Zimbabwe doesn't have a small craft league because you'd be missing a few limbs if you had a small craft league there.
Correct. So that is the problem in Africa, is we are not blessed with the opportunities necessarily in Zimbabwe, and because of crocs and those, etc.
So, okay, fantastic. Only the brave. And then team tournament trail. I also actually found this season I fished my first team tournament trail, and I believe it's, how long has team tournament trail SABAA affiliated for?
Since approximately 2018, thereabouts. I think the discussions were started as far back as 2017.
Oh.
And again, there were always cost for cash tournament trails throughout the country. And again, we had no reason, the anglers had no reason to belong to SABAA. So it was a long process. I flew up to Joburg, presented the ideas, and then also to Durban. And it's taken off. I think it's phenomenal. Just to explain to the viewers out there, the difference with team tournament trails is you're fishing traditionally on a normal bass boat, trolling motor, fish finders, but you're fishing 2 anglers as a team for your best 5 fish for the day to count. Obviously, there are prizes involved in the team tournament trails. That's one differentiating factor, is that you win either cash or prizes at that individual events. But simultaneous to that, you earn your points through the year, and depending which trail you belong to. Now, there's one in the Western Cape. There's a new one freshly formed, ASFN in the Eastern Cape. There's Joey's in Natal. There's Natal fishing, Northern Natal fishing. That's another new trail. There's Lowveld. There's Anglers for Anglers. There's Gauteng team tournament trails, and there's Limpopo team tournament trails. So anybody listening, and you and your buddy like fishing, and you like to go and have a braai, and you enjoy fishing, it's a great way to get involved. Even if you want to stay social, you can win a prize, enter. If you gain traction and the competitiveness bites you, there's a path directly from there to get selected within your trails, to go to annual national championships, to get graded. And when I say graded, you earn your points. SABAA is all about self-merit. So there's no selection panel that says, I dislike Hanru, I don't want him in a team. It's about your angling ability, and your results will determine the outcome. Yes, you can qualify or disqualify yourself based on the one simple thing. We all sign a code of conduct. So ultimately, you will disqualify yourself from a team, or you will qualify yourself through skill and ambassadorial skill sets. Not complicated, really.
Okay.
But I think it's a great opportunity. What's transpired, originally there was just going to be opportunities for anglers to go to BASS team championships in the States. That has now grown, that there's a president's test every year. There's a local Protea, African Protea test. There is it's a component of the Pan America International, but it's called the US Angling Cup.
Okay.
Or US Angling Challenge. And what that is really is US has invited South Africa to participate, and they have a tournament within a tournament. Okay. So that if South Africa can't field the full quantity of boats, then America will select their boats and South Africa will select theirs, and they'll have a tournament within a tournament, but fishing against really top class international anglers.
Oh, fantastic. And then also I just want to add on the opens, the reasons why you would fish opens instead of team tournament trails instead of opens. Is it a bit more friendly on the wallet because you're splitting the fees with your boat partner, hopefully, and then you actually don't need to have a boat. At least one of you guys need to have a boat.
So it's a wonderful opportunity where a guy that sits and says, I don't have the money to have a boat, but I got a bass bugs in my body, and he partners with somebody and they go fishing, and traditionally they share the cost. So yes, it's great in that regard. I think the one thing that is challenging is some of the trails have really great prizes. So they've got pretty steep entry fees.
Okay.
Not always, because that's not governed by SABAA. That's really a trail by trail determines the entry fee to their trail based under the type of prizes you're going to earn. That being said, yes, naturally, if you can share the cost of your towing, share the cost of your fuel on your boat, it comes out slightly more cost effective, but there's pros and cons on every section, whether we talk small craft, teams, opens, or youth.
And then the last one is opens. How long has opens been going on for?
Okay, so opens is... Okay, I forgot to mention something on the team trails before I go off that is newly elected Neil Button. Neil Button and his executive are also doing a great job with regards to the promotion of team tournament trails. So anybody that's interested in team tournament trail angling can reach out to myself or to Neil, and I know Neil and all of these people will have podcasts, but I owe it to Neil and his executive just to say thank you for the time and the effort they put in for their anglers within their section. They're doing a great job.
Fantastic.
With regards to opens is currently run by James Ray as the president of Opens. Opens ultimately was seniors. You know, a bunch of individual anglers going out competing, getting our points at provincial and national level, determining whether we can get the opportunities that lie within that realm are obviously provincial colours, president's colours, pro tier colours, world championship pro tier team, and then masters. Okay, so we started a new section, but within the 4 sections, masters was started up, and I think they've been running 3 years now.
Okay.
So that was a great opportunity. So James and his executive, they've got a whole heap of work. I'm glad I don't have all of the work of all of our section executives. And I think for people to understand, you can fish 2 on a boat, okay, to save cost if you wanted to, but your scores are analysed individually.
So that's 5 fish each.
5 fish each. So a little bit tougher. You will find a number of anglers choose to fish on their own. I'm fortunate, my son's fished, I think, almost every event bar the 1 year since he was 6 with me. And it is tougher. Our decision making is slightly different because you've got to try to get decent bags for both of us versus just going and trying to get one bag of 5 fish, your heaviest 5. But that, I love it. I enjoy fishing with my son. I enjoy the camaraderie. I find if I catch a big fish on my own, I want to turn around and smile and say yes, and there's nobody to smile with. So a number of guys still fishing opens 2 up, but many choose to fish individually. They are passionate and they want to obtain those opportunities. So, you know, I've mentioned the provincial presidents, pro tier worlds. There's also the opportunity to go to the Bass Nation Championships, and should you win the Bass Nation Championships, you qualify to the Bass Classic. And the same for teams. The teams anglers that go over to the BASS Team Championships, the top 3 teams at the end of that event actually fish off against each other to get a classic berth. So 2 opportunities to 2 different sections to get a classic berth. And so, yeah, that's interesting. What is also nice is the World Championships are to be hosted in this country in Arabi, first week of September.
This year?
This year.
Wow.
And I know James is looking for some skippers, some observers.
Some skippers, observers.
Some videographers.
I'll be there.
So, yeah, I just say if anybody is interested in and would like to be part of, you do not have to be part of SABAA. Put your hand up, get in touch with James. James will tell you where, if there's still capacity for people to come and assist and help. I mean, it's a big challenge in itself to run it, especially to run it at Arabi. But the benefit to the anglers that are fighting and vying is we're fortunate that World Championships is 2025 awarded to South Africa. 26 should be the USA. 27 is awarded to South Africa. But that's not just opens. Okay, it is an opportunity for National Small Craft League to host the Carnivorous from Kayak World Championships. It is it's World Games in 2027 awarded to South Africa. Now, World Games means it's deep sea, inshore, carp, fly, all the federations. So it's really, really big. That's correct.
The tackle shops are going to be busy in 2027.
100%.
Wow.
And then 2028 is provisionally Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So we're very fortunate that in the next 4-year cycle, we've got 2 in South Africa, 1 in Zimbabwe. I may as well say it's a home game if I compare it to being in Europe or in the States.
I agree.
So, 3 out of the next 4 years events will be local, which will assist our anglers with the cost involved of getting to these events.
Fantastic. And then now I know there's maybe a under 25 section involved as well.
Yeah, so it was I alluded to it right at the beginning. Seniors, juniors. Now we've got our 4 or 5 sections. In one of those sections, we introduced masters, and I don't think I mentioned that before I come to the under 25s is like we have got the Tri-Nations going for the juniors, we are in the process of setting up a Tri-Nations Masters in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
Implying Zimbabwe, South Africa, and USA. So some of the pro anglers that are older than 55 years of age will be coming out to South Africa, we hope in 2025, as early as before the end of this year, which I think is great. And you know why is, if you look at it, we've got an opportunity for youth like yourself that came in at the bottom, that's gone to small craft, that will go to teams or opens, okay, as time progresses. We had nothing for people that had achieved their goals in opens or in seniors long ago. And the names are too many to mention, but, whether we talk John Bulpett and Zies van Sail and Frans Bushventer, and I know you won't know all of these names.
No, I know 1 or 2.
They all fished in the 1990s, okay? And to fish against young guys, I already feel it at my age, fishing against guys like you for 5 days. After 5 days, I can feel it. There was no place for a person that was of slightly older age with opportunities. So by creating the Masters, they've got a Masters National Championships once a year. I encourage any of the guys out there, either past SABAA members or passionate bass angler that says, hey, I would like to go and fish with like-minded people. It's really sociable, guys get along well. There's still that competitiveness when they start their boats and they get on the water, but a great opportunity of bringing people with a wealth of knowledge that was traditionally lost from our sport, because those are the guys that fundamentally helped build SABAA to where it was. If I go back, Jerry Leach was the original founder of SABAA, sadly passed away, and there are a number of people that were involved, integral parts of building what we have today, and there was nowhere for them to fit in. Now, there's a place for them to fit in. So I'm grateful for that. And then to have the Americans coming out is great. And then what we realized is a lot of our youth were disappearing. And it's understandable, whether they're immigrating overseas, whether they're studying, etc. Just as a bone of opportunity, like a carrot is, when you finished your youth, you had to go straight and fight the big boys, the big dogs. And you can, there are many anglers that can come and fight against the so-called big dogs. But there wasn't a place to retain that youth and that transition. No. So what we decided to do then was form under 25s. Now people may say, well, how do I participate in the under 25 national championships? It's very simple. The only guys that can't compete are anybody from the youth section, because they'll be under 19.
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, so youth section can't. But team tournament trails, National Small Craft League and Opens, if you are just participating competitively in that event, you will be extended an invite to attend the national under 25 championships. So automatic qualification at this stage. So it doesn't matter how you finished in the Western Cape Smallcraft League. If you've been competing and active through the season, and we can see the guys are keen in the under 25, they'll get an invitation to the under 25 national championships. The top 6 anglers from that nationals are selected directly into their Protea Blazers, and they'll go and fish against Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe are hosts this year, and that should transpire. It's premature now, but so don't hold me to this, but should be in August at Darwindale. The guys should have some great fun.
I was in Darwindale. It's big fish.
Yeah.
Big fish and tough fishing. No, that's amazing, because I know when I went from juniors straight to seniors or Smallcraft League, it wasn't necessarily, competing with the big dogs, but it was quite difficult fitting in age-wise, because I was fishing with the Ooms all of a sudden. So I think the under 25 is a great idea, because you keep that, I want to say, friendships going, and that, with the banter and everything, because I can't, banter Oom, it wouldn't be right. So I'm very grateful that you guys did the under 25. And then, just a quick update for you guys. I'll be doing under Lewis from Click Race Marketing. I'll be doing the SABAA Facebook pages, Instagram pages, and YouTube pages, which this video will be on there. So each big event, there will be a cool video, highlighting all the key moments of the event, and just putting a nice 10-12 minute clip together for you guys to go and view either today, or if you want to show your friends in a year or 2 years time, you can show that video to them. And
and Henry, thank you. I've watched you grow up from being a young boy into a young adult, and I'm grateful that you engaged with us and that you've got a great business, and I wish you all of the success. But just for people out there that wonder, Henry is donating his time in lieu of recognition as a partner / sponsor of SABAA. So SABAA don't pay you any money, because we don't have enough money to pay you.
So we had some technical difficulties. It's quite a hot day in the Cape, and we forgot to put on the aircon, so the camera overheated. But we were ending on, my name is Andre Lewis, owner of Click Race Marketing. I'll be taking over SABAA's Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channel. Very excited for it. I do believe the whole world is going into that direction, and I'm very excited to bring some great content that people can get excited about. So very honored to be part of the SABAA, I want to say, team, and just to give back for a sport that has done so much for me. So thank you very much for that.
Well, from our side, Henry, thank you. We wish you all of the best on your business venture. Anybody looking at getting social media marketing, videography, I don't know everything that you do, but I know it involves Facebook, web pages, Instagram, custom videography. Get hold of Henry. Thank you. Yes. And, I know that it's a startup business, and you volunteered all of this time as a partnership agreement with SABAA, and I wish you all of the best. I think that it's something that has been definitely lacking from within our association, and I know we've been slow in getting it all started off, but I think that it will stand us in good stead over the future.
No, I'm very excited. And then to end of this video, I think it's very important that the people know that you're not doing this SABAA thing, being the president of SABAA, to get the bills paid at the end of the month. You're doing this purely out of passion.
Yeah, the check's been in the post for 25 years. So, no, I think it's pertinent, not just myself. You need to understand that there are so many people that make the sport what it is, and they are all volunteers. No one gets paid. Our partnership money or our sponsorship money within each section, there's transparency required so that the anglers know where the money is being spent. So, those sponsorship revenues are spent on the teams and the anglers. And I think that's important to note. And whether we talk about my national executive or we talk about the sections executives, they are all giving of their time to try to administer the sport to the best of their ability, while still shuffling their own family life and their own business. And no, none of us are perfect, but as long as we know our intentions are pure, I think that the anglers, the majority of the anglers, are always very grateful for that. And I think that's overlooked very often. The expectation is that this is what the anglers expect, but they also need to realize if I can say one thing through this, if they just put their hand up and volunteer to assist in some manner or form, and the more volunteers we have, the less workload there is on one person. So, yeah, we've got a great group, not only just in the national executive, in the entire executive, and I say thank you to all of them. And maybe people will ask, well, the only money that does get spent is whether it's a national executive, if anybody needs to be flown to a meeting, the ticket is claimed. Okay, if I'm fortunate, I've got a very good mate in Joburg that I stay with every time, otherwise you'll shout at me and we have a bride together. So yeah, Dave, if you're listening, thanks, Davey. But the bottom line is, that's the only place that I know that money gets spent on any executive member. It's transport. If we have to hire the venue like the SASAC offices where we have our AGMs, we hire that. And yes, it's all in, it needs to be in our financials. It needs to be transparent to all our members. We are dealing with money, membership money and sponsorship money within each section that has to have full transparency.
Fantastic. So anyone can ask for a bank statement anytime?
In principle, if they've got the time to go through them, with the greatest of pleasure. But in principle, what should be happening all the way from provincial level in the Western Cape, the Western Cape anglers, I don't care whether it's small craft, juniors, opens, or team trails, should hold an AGM annually. In that AGM, they should be showing your income and your expense reports and where those expenses were, because that nips any concern 100%. In the bud. And if that's done at provincial level, it's naturally done then at national section level, and it's naturally also done at national level. And we have to provide audited financial statements all the way by section, by province to SASAC, and it's a prerequisite. It's not a Craig Fraser wants this or a James Ray wants this. It's a component of the Constitution that we have to abide by. So we have to have that transparency.
That makes 100%. Thank you very much. I think this is a great first video, guys. If you have any other questions, the emails on each section ahead will be in the description. So if you guys want to be part of any group, be sure to contact them below. And thank you very much, Craig Fraser.
Thank you.
To the next one. I think the next interview will be National Small Craft League. So George, I'll be seeing you soon. And then each section head can start preparing a nice story for us. But I think it's a great first video. And I'm very excited to build on top of this.
Thank you, Anya, and thank you to the listeners.
Thank you very much.